If you've ever had a trade go against you only to get those butterfly feelings, you to stop out and then the trade reverse course and go in the original direction you wanted it to, then you might be trading with emotions or fear. And that can create a real problem when it comes to trading. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you why we trade on fear and how to overcome this fear concept when we're trading. Now, if you're brand new here, you don't know who I am. I'm Sasha, the options coach, and I've been teaching people to trade options over the last decade. Now, one thing I've seen with the people I've coached is trading with fear. And this is a huge problem and issue because it doesn't allow you to be in the flow channel. And that's really what we want to talk about and look at is we want to be in the flow when we're trading. So I'm going to show you a little diagram here to help you out as far as how this works and how you can kind of make a shift and pivot so that way you're in the flow channel. Now, first off, what is the flow channel? The flow channel is where you're kind of in the zone. If you've ever played tennis, hockey, baseball, golf, where you just feel things lining up, everything's just so smooth. You know, it's kind of like driving on an open road and everything is just smooth. Traffic is not really there. And this is the same thing here. So when we look at the flow channel, when it comes to our trading, what's happening is that the skill and the challenge matches up real nicely. It's in this flow zone. Now, if we have a skill set that's low, and the challenge is extremely high, we might have some worry or anxiety. Because think about it. Let's say you're trading 1,000 shares, okay? You're trading 1,000 shares and now you're like worried or stressed out because it's too much for what you could handle. If normally you're used to, let's say 50 shares or 5 shares or 100 shares, it's completely different trading 1,000 shares. And that's where the worry or anxiety starts to creep in. Okay. The other thing is that let's say you go the other way. Let's say you've got some experience. Okay. Maybe you have some pretty decent experience, but the challenge is low. Now you might actually have some boredom, and that's not really great either because now when you're bored, you're not really in the zone anymore. You're kind of like, you know, doing lazy shots, you know, if you're playing tennis or, you know, if you're playing hockey, you're kind of skating slow. You're not really performing or getting better. So you don't really want that either. So when you're trading in this case and you're bored, well, you might actually, let's say you could be trading 100 shares, but you're only trading 5 shares, or you could be making, let's say, $10,000 or $50,000, but you're really only making like $3,000. So that's what happens with boredom. So we want to make sure we're also not bored. And this is where we want to stay, is in this flow channel. If we can stay in this flow channel, everything is in alignment. Now, it's difficult to find that flow channel all the time because the account keeps shifting. But this is where kind of our fear comes in, is that if your challenge is extremely high or higher than what you're comfortable at, it may be that you need to kind of stretch your muscles a little bit, just like you would when it comes to yoga, martial arts, you know, weightlifting or anything of that nature. You're constantly building your muscle. And in this case, it would be your brain muscle or your fear muscle or your flow channel in order to be able to go ahead and stretch larger position sizes. And that's ultimately what you're aiming to do. So if you're struggling with this, I highly encourage you to kind of look at this diagram and kind of think of where are you positioned in terms of your skill and experience. And you got to be honest with yourself along with your challenge. Okay. So if the challenge is really high, you might be there. And if your skill and experience is really good, and then you're, you know, a little bit bored or in this relaxed state, then you might be able to push yourself a little further. Now, if you want, you could do kind of like something like a tracker for this, like a daily flow tracker, like let's say day 1, day 2, day 3. On one side, you could mark something like, hey, boredom, where you're, you know, really relaxed or bored, or the challenge is really light. And on the other end could be anxiety, fear, those kinds of things. And in the middle could be kind of a balance. So you could think of it like a little teeter-totter, and you can just track it every day. Like, okay, let's say I wake up today, I feel a little bored. Maybe the market's not doing much. Another day you might feel a little anxiety because you put too much positions on. And over time, you'll see, am I kind of trading more on the anxiety level or more the boredom level? And that will give you kind of a little diagram or chart to see how things are progressing. So anyways, by the way, if you do want this PDF, I don't have it anywhere handy right now, but just send me a quick note down below and I'll send it over to you. But I hope this helps and gives you a little insight to, the flow channel and how it works and how you can really modify some of those fears, because you can't really get rid of fear. It's just part of us naturally. It's going to always be there as a human instinct to protect us. But what we can do is kind of adapt to what we're doing on the task and then stretch ourselves further to continue to build our share size or our difficulty level to be able to stick in the flow zone or in the flow channel. So thanks for joining me. I'm Sasha, and by all means, send me a quick note if you're interested in the PDF. Otherwise, enjoy the videos and check out some of the other great stuff I have available as well.